Hey guys, how's it going? Hankster123 here. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 anticipated films of 2016. I know it says something different about me. No, I got a new camera, new quality. I'm not using my laptop anymore. I got a microphone. I got a new software on my laptop. So this is like a new and improved version of Hankster123 now. Last year was kind of like a test run of what I could do with my own footage, but now I've saved up my money and I bought all this new fancy stuff. Okay, let's get to the topic now. I will be doing my top 10 films of 2015, but every beginning of the year I always do a top 10 films of anticipation of 2016. I will be doing before I start from number 10, I will be doing a honourable mentions. Let me begin my honourable mentions. We have The Jungle Book by Jon Favreau. We have Hail Caesar. We have Fantastic Beasts. What else? Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie again. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows. Zootopia, Moana, and Doctor Strange, of course. So let's move on. Let's start with number 10 now, guys, and that's the Ghostbusters reboot by Paul Feig. I've enjoyed his films, such great comedies he's done over the past few years, such as Bridesmaids, The Heat, and the film that came out last year, which was Spy, which was quite funny. And I think he's probably one of the best directors at the moment who's doing comedies, and he works well with the right women, such as Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Sigourney Weaver. I think it was time we live in an age where we have female protagonists now. I'm actually saying that. If you see things like Legend of Korra or the new Star Wars film, we're getting to the point that we don't really need to rely on male protagonists to carry their own film. And I think how Paul Feig works with women is great. If you've seen them do films before, such as Melissa McCarthy on such thing as Spy and Bridesmaids, and if you see them on Saturday Night Live, they are pretty funny on it. And I think the reason why I put this over many films, because this is a huge risk and I have 100% faith in it. So that is my number 10. Moving on to number 9 now. Alright, 2 questions. Who's my favourite actor of all time? And what's my favourite game franchise of all time? Michael Fassbender and Assassin's Creed. Mix them together, you got a great video game film, hopefully. The reason why I put Assassin's Creed in this list, because I think this has potential to relaunch the video game movie franchise, such as we also get Warcraft, but we're also hopefully getting other films soon, such as like like The Last of Us or Uncharted or Tomb Raider, a reboot hopefully. But you know, Michael Fassbender, he's my favourite actor of all time. I loved his performance last year, such as things as Steve Jobs and Slow West. And I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I'm not up to date fully. I've only got up to number 4 so far, but I love the concept of how you get into the ancestors' minds and go through their adventures. And I think this has a lot of potential. I've seen set pictures and I like the makeup, I like the costume, and if this does well, I really hopefully does relaunch the video game franchise, and I think this film could make history. Moving on to number 8 now, and that is the Star Trek Beyond. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I really love the original series. You know, the first Star Trek film is my favourite all-time, one of my favourite films of all time. It's definitely in my top 10. I just love it how J.J. Abrams relaunched a dead franchise and bring it back to life with new characters and new stories, and made Star Trek kind of fresh again. I know this isn't directed by J.J. Abrams, but to be honest, I wasn't impressed with Star Trek Into Darkness. This is directed by Justin Lin, who's done Fast and Furious 3 to 6, and I think he is one of those guys who brings Fast and Furious to bring it back to life. I think Fast and Furious was kind of like a silly film franchise, but he kind of gave it to a crime heist to it. So I think he brought it back to life. And I love the cast. The trailer is really good. I love it how they are. I think they go for more of a science fiction adventure, more unlike a big blockbuster hit full of. It's sort of grounded, I would say. It's slightly smaller, which is not a problem at all. I think it's always go back down to the basics. And it is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek this year. Can't believe that's happening. I look forward to seeing maybe some Easter eggs. I'm not sure we're going to get William Shatner cameo, but who knows, we can all dream someday. So that's why it's at number 8. I love the cast. I really love Star Trek. So this is why it's number 8. Number 7 now. This is a sequel to one of my favourite comedies of all time, and that is going to be Zoolander 2. Zoolander is a film that I watched as a young boy, and it just gets better and better. It doesn't get outdated. I think this has a great cast before they were bigger hits, such as Ben Stiller was, and Owen Wilson and Will Ferrell. And I know this is going for a completely different direction, but who cares, because this is going to be like over 10 years before the first film, so I think this is already a big risk. But I'm having the same vibe when they announced an XMen 2, which is also one of my favourite comedies of all time. And it's great to see these characters brought back to life. They don't look like out of age out yet. Ben Stiller is a great director. I really think he does really good jobs in comedy. But the plot doesn't interest me, but I just love Zoolander, and I think Ben Stiller can bring a great essence to this film. So that is why it's number 7 on my list. Moving on to number 6 now. And that's going to be the comic book film that's coming out in February, just less than a month away, and it's going to be Deadpool. I've loved this character, adore this character so much. I think Ryan Reynolds pulled it off really well in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I've seen some behind the scenes footage of him, and he plays the part really well, and he was born for this part. Unfortunately, the script let him down and the production let him down. But for years fans have been begging for a Deadpool film, and we finally got one. And you've seen the Red Band trailer, and it's so funny as hell. I think it's just and the marketing is pure genius. I think it's probably the best marketing for a film for quite a while. And just seeing Deadpool come to life, kicking ass, having some quick wits with his fans, I think this has potential to, and this is going to be like the first rated R comic book film for a long time, for like over 10 years. Last one I can think was Blade Trinity or something, or no, possibly Watchmen, sorry. It wasn't that long, but I think a lot of people have stopped doing R-rated comic book films now. But bring it back to life, and it is hilarious. So I look forward to seeing a great cast. Ryan Reynolds back. He's never doing good comic book films, but I think he was just born for this part, and this goes well. I'm happy. So that's why it's number 6 on my list. Number 5 now. Number 5 on my list. Forgive me if it's not on number 1, but I have my own personal reasons, and that's going to be Star Wars Rogue One. I think this film I've always said the best fascinating concepts of Star Wars was probably the events of between episode 3 to episode 4. That was probably my fascinating timeline of Star Wars. And it's great to have this film back into theatres. We will probably want film, like, if it was a story like this, they'd probably transfer it to a book or a video game or a cartoon. But having it in live action in cinemas is a dream come true for the fans. And I doubt it was going to make much money as Star Wars Episode 7, but I think this film is going to have like a really dark feel to it. I think we're going to see Darth Vader. I think we're going to have a kind of a band of brothers, kind of like Saving Private Ryan in a way. I think that's going to have that kind of feel to it. And why is it not number 1? I'll just say it clear. There's the films I prefer over the list, and the top 4 films are going to be game changers, I think, hopefully. And this is why it's number 5. But I'm so looking forward to this, guys. I love the cast to it. I love the trailer, the teasers they gave to it. And I just like this this is a storyline we've been dying for years. I wish we could have had it in a book, but no, we're going to get in a good we're going to get it in a film format. So I'm really happy about that. So that's why it's number 5 on the list. Moving on to number 4 now. Number 4 on the list is Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer, who's done films like Training Day and Fury, which are good, dark, deep films of war and crime. And I think he suits the direction role of this film. As a fanboy, I've always been admired by the concept of Suicide Squad, a bunch of B-list super villains controlled by the government to do suicide missions. And ever since I was 16, I always liked it, and they never did it in a great way. If you've seen like Smallville and Arrow, it's been very disappointing in a live action format. I've enjoyed the comic books, and I've got the film of the Batman Arkham Assault, which I have not watched yet. But this is going to be, I think this is going to be one of those game changers. We haven't seen this in a comic book film, where a bunch of supervillains have to work together to do suicide missions, and it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a big risk, it's an unknown property. DC hasn't had that much time to make their marketing strong and to make them notable. So I have 100% faith in this. A lot of people have, and I think this is why it's number 4 on the list. So I look forward to it, guys, and I really think you should go for it. I think this is going to be something good for the DC fans and comic book fans. Moving on to number 3 now. Number 3 on the list is Captain America Civil War. I'm a big Marvel fan. I've loved Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Civil War has taken it to a whole new level. It's not just superheroes fighting supervillains, it's more like superheroes fighting each other. And that's going to be like a game-changing, emotional level for fanboys. And what I was going to say, you have a great cast. You have Ant-Man, Hawkeye, War Machine, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Vision. You also have I can't remember his name. The guy from Red Hulk. You know which one I mean. It's something Thunderstone or so, Captain Thunderstone or something like that. And I love the plot to it. It's not similar to the comic as such. I've read the comic, but this is kind of it builds essences from it, and it takes elements from it. Sorry, and puts it into the film, and I enjoy it. If you've seen the trailer, for a long time I said to myself, Civil War sounds like Avengers 2.5. If you've seen the trailer, it builds around Captain America with his relationships with his fellow superheroes and how he thinks of the world today, and I think that's kind of like the conclusion from Winter Soldier, how he was controlled by the government. It also has Black Panther for its first appearance, which I look forward to. I think we might see Giant Man. Hopefully, if you've seen the Lego sets, Giant Man's going to be in it. So I really fingers crossed. That's the really superhero I really want to see. And also the first Spider-Man cameo that I've been dying to see for quite a while, and I think that's going to be really good to it. And I think that's really it to what I have to say about Captain America Civil War. I think it's only less than 5 months away, and I will book this in like IMAX or something. I will do like a midnight screen, so that's why it's at number 3 on the list. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 on the list, it's a very obvious answer, and that's going to be Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. This is a film that fanboys have been dying to see for years now. A live-action version of Batman vs Superman. I love the casting. I think Henry Cavill did a great job in Man of Steel. I know Man of Steel was a very mixed film, but I stand by it, and if people have a problem, I would probably fight them. I would literally hit them in the face. This is a film this is very controversial, I think, to many people, but I'll stand by it. Let me just get the answer out of the way. Is DC rushing their films? No, I think they're going for a different approach than what Marvel do, and I think that's a good idea. And I completely respect and understand that. And I think the best way to to start your smaller characters such as Aquaman and Green Lantern and the Flash is to kind of build them together with Batman and Superman. That would work well, and I think that would get many audience to get hooked into these characters more. So that's why. But no, I think Zack Snyder is a great director. I love Man of Steel. I really like 300. Watchmen's one of my favourite comic book films of all time. So yeah, Batman vs Superman. I love the Comic-Con trailer. I wasn't that hooked on the trailer that came out recently with Doomsday and Wonder Woman and Lex Luthor. I had a lot of problems with that, but I think this is great in every level that we see these great background stories to these characters and fighting them to the death. Hell yeah, I would definitely get down to that. And so that's why it's number 2 on my list. I really think this is going to do great. Hopefully it's going to do great, otherwise it's going to make a looking idiot out of me. So yeah, Batman vs Superman at number 2. Moving on to number 1 now, and I think this may be a bit of a surprise, but who knows. Moving on to number 1 on my list, and that is going to be XMen Apocalypse. Yes, I'm saying XMen Apocalypse is going to be... Anticipation level is much higher than Civil War or Dawn of Justice and Deadpool and Suicide Squad. The reason because I freaking love Bryan Singer. I think he's the best director to do a comic book film. I think he's better than Joss Whedon or the Russo brothers or Sam Raimi or Zack Snyder, because he has not let the X-Men franchise down, unlike other people before. He's done a really good job in the first X-Men that relaunched the comic book franchise. He did a fantastic job in XMen 2. I think if you go back 10 years ago, I think XMen 2 is probably the best comic book film back then. I like major ones we have now, and I think he did a fantastic job in X-Men Days of Future Past. So bringing them back, why not? I think he does. He loves this source material really well, and I really like to see him do more. I've loved the cast ever since in First Class. You know how much I adore Michael Fassbender. I love James McAvoy. I love these characters. I like how they rebooting the franchise in a way, bringing these to the younger generation, to these, younger Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, Jubilee. Oscar Isaac, he's a fantastic actor. I think he's Oscar worthy, not for this role of course, but I think he's Oscar worthy for other roles he's did in the past, such as in Ex Machina. And literally, I'm a huge X-Men fan, of course. I am actually reading the Age of Apocalypse storyline. I know it's not based around that, but it takes elements of that, which I'm happy about. And I'm a huge X-Men fan. I love currently reading X-Men at the moment. I think X-Men is probably my second or first favourite. I can't really depend with also Spider-Man, but it's probably my favourite Marvel property. That's how good it is. So yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, I think it's going to turn out great. I think you have... Alright, I know people say Apocalypse looks like Mr. Freeze with Ivan Ooze. You're just bitching, can I just say, but I think X-Men Apocalypse is my most anticipated film of 2016. So yeah guys, I really hope this list was good. Go check out my new videos now with my new technology and my new software. I think this is going to be a great year for my videos. I really go check it out. Go subscribe, like, share. My next video would be the top films of 2015. So I've got your back, guys.